Mr President, the Libertarian Party opposes the bail amendment ban on private electronic monitoring Bill 2025. And for those watching at home, I don't want people to think that, I always oppose the Labor bills, because I will be supporting one that's coming up about these workers' compensation thing. However, we definitely do oppose this one. Does it ever make sense to ban something that makes the public safer? That is exactly what the New South Wales Labor government is doing. In a move that defies logic and betrays a hostility to private enterprise, Attorney General Michael Daly has introduced legislation to ban private companies from monitoring people on bail using GPS ankle bracelets. Since 2013, individuals on bail in New South Wales have been able to voluntarily agree to GPS monitoring via an ankle bracelet at their own cost. Doesn't cost the taxpayer anything. This allows them to remain in the community under strict conditions. The bracelet tracks adherence to curfews, inclusion and exclusion zones, and the person's movements in real time, and the data is made available to law enforcement and the courts. In other words, it enhances oversight, builds confidence in the justice system, and comes at zero cost to taxpayers. The individual pays, not the state, not the taxpayers. No burden on the budget, no drain on police resources, just an efficient, market-driven tool for managing defendants awaiting trial. The result? Some freedom for the individual under strict accountability and greater safety for the community. But because one provider, BailSafe, collapsed early this year, leaving 20 defendants temporarily unmonitored, and I'll just mention, Mr President, yes, briefly, 20 defendants were left unmonitored. No harm was done, so it's all over nothing. But the Minns government's response is not to fix the regulatory shortfalls, but to blow up what was a good, growing, promising system. The other provider, the easily dominant player in the market, is Allied Universal. They are the world's largest provider of private security guards. Allied Universal is the third largest American company based on the number of employees. If this bill passes, it sends yet another message that New South Wales and Australia is not a friendly place for innovative companies to invest and grow. Labor's reflexive distrust of the private sector has led it to scrap an industry where its major player has delivered a 98.7% compliance rate. Only 6 of the nearly 500 monitored individuals in this state have ever absconded since the system began over a decade ago. 6 out of 500. And when those rare breaches occurred, the technology instantly alerted authorities, unlike traditional bail conditions, which rely on intermittent police checks and personal compliance. Even Justice Hamill of the New South Wales Supreme Court has weighed in, recognising the value of this technology. Justice Hamill said it must be acknowledged that electronic monitoring cannot guarantee a person's compliance with bail conditions. Even so, it provides some additional protection against breaches of bail and other forms of conditional liberty. If that were not the case, corrective services would not use the device in monitoring parole conditions. End quote. This is a textbook example of Labor's big government mindset. When something goes wrong, punish everyone, ban innovation and centralise control. The alternative, the Libertarian alternative, is to fix the weak points in the system, strengthen licensing, mandate backup systems if necessary, in the case of a provider's collapse. Instead, the Attorney-General has decided to scrap the program, which helps the courts, helps the police, and helps the accused maintain some liberty while under scrutiny, all because one provider went under. Now, we're talking about defendants who are awaiting trial, not convicted, not sentenced. In a liberal democracy, we presume innocence. Some of them will be innocent. The courts will find them innocent. Now, Mr President, remand is hellish. In jail, and I had a friend who went to jail for over a decade. I've probably visited him 30 times. I've been to probably a dozen jails across New South Wales. In jail, there is an equilibrium. People have sort of worked out where they are. Now, bad things happen. It's very boring, but basically people work it out. Now, remand is a very different environment. People are taken off the street or from some scene where there's been some type of criminal upheaval. They're often drunk, they're on drugs, they've got some psychotic episode in many, many cases, and all these people are just thrown in together. And that's really, really scary. And what we're going to do, Sue Higginson was right, this is going to result in a lot more people on remand. A lot of people who will be proven to be innocent by the courts. Private monitoring is a solution to this dilemma. It allows freedom under conditions with personal responsibility enforced through the technology. It embodies everything libertarians believe in: voluntary agreements, the rule of law, and innovation through free markets. Instead of supporting and expanding this good option, the Minns government wants to make it illegal. Here's the kicker: the same technology is used by corrective services to monitor parolees. Apparently it's good enough for convicted criminals, but not for those who haven't even faced a trial. So this isn't just about bail, it's about whether we want a society that trusts free enterprise to contribute to public safety, or one where the government insists on total control even when it can't do a better job. I'd rather live in a society where private initiative is encouraged, not outlawed, where citizens can choose to wear an ankle bracelet, ankle monitor at their own cost to prove their compliance and stay out of jail, and where public safety isn't held hostage to ideological hang-ups and perceived political expediency. Please don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Fix the regulations, licence only competent providers, but don't ban a system that works. I oppose the bill.